Recorded at Equip HNA 2024 in Louisville, Kentucky. Here's your host, SiteOne trainer, Shawn Sandink.
Welcome, Joe.
Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Joe, we just want to get to know you a little bit here. What brought you into the green industry?
Well, actually, snow brought me into the green industry. I started...
So white brought into green. All right.
Yeah, so I started as a snow removal provider
Intriguing.
in the Chicago market. Started with a pickup truck. I plowed, my brother shoveled, and we grew that.
And this was like in high school?
This is just out of high school.
Just out of high school.
Yeah. So we, like I said, started pretty small.
Right.
And grew it to, we have over 300 team members now. We just got ranked top 25.
Whoa. You and your brother
now have grown
have grown to 300 teammates?
Correct. So I own a company in Illinois called Langton Group Landscaping.
Okay.
We do commercial landscaping and snow.
Gotcha.
We are a customer of SiteOne. We actually buy irrigation parts from you guys. We buy landscape materials from SiteOne.
Well, thank you for that.
Yes. So we are a customer. And then in 2006, so that's the first company I started in the green space.
Gotcha. And that company's still rolling?
Still rolling strong, growing.
With 300 folks working at it,
yeah,
making their thing.
Organically growing a million to a million and a half a year.
And they still do snow too?
Oh yeah, snow is core part of our business.
At lawn care?
So we do snow, lawn care, automated lawn care. That's really what we're known for. Is our
automated lawn care. We'll talk about that in a sec.
Yeah.
Irrigation?
Correct. Irrigation.
Construction?
A lot. Well, I shouldn't say a lot of construction. We do construction. We have 10 construction crews.
And so that'd be hardscaping, drainage, lighting.
Correct. Yeah.
Water features.
We do water features. Yeah.
Outdoor audio.
We don't really do any outdoor audio.
Because the market hasn't asked for it yet, or you're like, no, that's not us.
No, I would actually love to do it. If I can make money, I'll do it. But yeah, I don't get that selective. But no, I think the market's just really not looking for it in our market anyways, where we are. We're in McHenry, Illinois. So if I was heavy in Lake Forest, probably.
I have pretend I'm from not Illinois.
All right. So
how would I know the difference between these places?
All right. So here's what's crazy. Lake County, Illinois, is right along Lake Michigan.
Okay.
Uber rich.
Gotcha.
Lots and lots of money there. You go to McHenry County, it's like farmland. It's where everybody's trying to escape to get their 10-acre parcel and have some hobby horses. So
gotcha. It's
a little different market. It's more of they want function over fashion, I suppose.
Okay.
That's the way I can describe it. So
good, practical folks.
They are.
Hardworking.
They've invested in their dream, getting this estate property. And that's a lot of what surrounds us at Langton Group. And quite honestly, Langton also is majority commercial. I'm put in perspective, Costco is one of my biggest customers.
Gotcha.
We do Costco's, Walmart, Sam's Club. So we do a lot of big box retail. And even for the irrigation, most of the irrigation work we do is actually irrigation repair, not actually irrigation install.
Yep. You do have a construction side though.
We do.
Where you'll do inside. But your core, what makes you guys thrive is your maintenance business.
Maintenance and enhancements.
So tell me about how this automation fits into that. Like, I'm hearing all week long, for the past couple of years, different people being on different sides of the fence when it comes to how people are transitioning, first of all, from gas to battery, and then how robotics and automation, how that's all fitting into our industry. So how do you see it, and how did you come to have it incorporated into your business?
Yeah, so great question, and I'm excited to answer it. So I saw my first robot at a Husqvarna booth in 2016, and when every landscape professional walked past and kind of scoffed, laughed at it,
right,
I basically said, how much is it, and how many acres does it mow? So when I started in automation, just saw it as a cost per acre. What's the cost per acre? Because in all my spreadsheets,
right,
I know what my cost per acre is to mow with a 72-inch zero turn, a 60-inch, whatever
sure.
this may be. So I realized at the time the Husqvarna was actually more expensive than it should be to mow an acre of grass. Husqvarna was very willing to listen to some feedback. They ended up changing some pricing structure. I don't think only just because of me. I mean, they just did it eventually.
Sure.
But that got to the point where, they got in the $40 roughly an acre range, which for most commercial landscapers and residential that know their costs, that got you to where it needed to be. So that was the beginning, right? I think if I didn't know my fully burdened labor rate to cut an acre of grass, I don't know that I would have gotten in. Now, once I realized, as long as I can mow that acre of grass, I don't care how big the machine is. I don't care if it's plastic. I don't care what type of blade it has. As long as it cuts that acre
Right.
in my cost, that's all I care. So that was the start of my automation. From there, I realized that everybody getting in was just trying to sell the product. And I realized we were,
You mean the manufacturers, the distributors?
manufacturers was even distributors, are just trying to sell product. And the thing with automation is, it works really well, but its safety is so that if a human interacts with it, it stops.
Right.
And people then would get a kind of negative bias, being like, oh, this thing's aired out, it's not working. But at the end of the day, it's just asking for a human being to help it. There's nothing wrong with it.
Right.
So I kind of really started to embrace this service model with automation. And that's been like a rocket ship
And
for us.
how does that serve it? So we're talking about robotic mowers
Correct.
that you've embraced this. So these run on batteries,
Yes.
and these have a little mind of their own that
Yep.
they're going to cut the grass without a human pushing a lawnmower
Correct.
or riding on one, starting it up. And so what is the service model that you put in place? How's that work?
Yeah. So
Let's say I own this building. I own a big giant trade show place.
Yep.
And I come to you and I say, Joe, I want you to take care of all of my property maintenance.
Yep.
Hook me up. What does this look like?
Yeah. So what we're going to do is we're going to map the property.
Okay.
We're going to identify where there's power, where there's not. And then from there, we're going to
Will you get power? Sorry to interrupt you, but will you get power added if
they're willing,
it's convenient?
if they're willing. But we, much like SiteOne has, and you were your automation partner, right? So we basically will say, okay, Husqvarna 520 E-post, let's say, can work over in this section, and a 550 E-post can do that 2.5 acres, but we don't have power in the back, so we're going to use the Nexmo drop-and-go solution over here. What we do is we look at...
Whoa. You got to slow down here. What are those things that you're talking about? What's a 550? What's this X blow? X?
So Nexmo. So you guys carry Nexmo.
Okay.
We carry Nexmo also. But basically, the Nexmo allows you to move a robotic mower around. You can map a site and then move it, and you have a hot swap battery.
But
so
a person's moving it?
a person will move it, but then leave it alone. So you put it in the map and make it mow, and then a person can go and do the string trimming or the weeding. So let's go back to the original question.
Yeah.
How would we do the property?
Yeah.
So if I looked at this property and said, okay, usually I'd have a 3-person mowing crew. Okay.
Perfect.
I'd have 2 guys on 0 turns or two girls on 0 turns and somebody doing the string trimming. Now I basically have 1 person deploying the robots, 1 person preventatively maintaining robots, and then when they're done doing that, they're both string trimming and blowing and then leaving. So what we're doing is we're cutting down our unproductive windshield time from site to site, because we're taking 3 or 4 person crews and scaling them back to 2-person crews, number one.
Okay.
Second thing we're doing is we're more environmental, because we're cutting at 56 to 70 decibels. We're doing it with all battery or on-site electric charging. And then once we move a site to an automated site, we actually use battery equipment. So that's what our company does. And our full focus at Langton Group is we can see the legislation coming to get rid of gas. It's already happened in California. Now they're going to try to do it in New York. Illinois is likely next. I'd rather do it before they make me. I want to do it on my own. I don't want to do it and have to respond. I want to be proactive. And that's really, going back to your original question, what really kind of started this automation journey.
Yep.
And I'm such a believer in it, because so I have 18 mowing crews at Langton right now. And if I had battery 0 turns, I don't have enough electrical amperage service to deal with that. Let's say an electric mower is 20 amp draw when it charges.
Sure.
Okay. I would have 36 of those with 18 mowing crews. If you take 36 times 20 amps, I need an additional 400 to 600 amps at my location that doesn't exist.
Right.
So with the automation, I can put...
Now you could do a bank charger.
I could, but here's the reality. The automation allows me to not even have to deal with that.
Right.
So, they take small gulps of power,
Yeah.
recharge themselves on site. And then going back to that model that we run with automation, our team just monitors the robot. If the robot needs assistance, we send somebody out. The customer doesn't call us and say, my robot doesn't work. They see this and they go and fix it themselves. My technicians.
Your technicians do that.
Correct.
So your technicians actually, they're no more like, oh, they're just mow guys. These are actually lawn technicians.
Correct. So let me tell you a quick little story. So my 2 stepsons used to work with us, and they used to mow grass. And I like to tell this story because we went to a family party once. That side of the family's pretty well off, and they asked the boys, what do you do for Joe?
Sure.
Right? And they're like, we mow grass. And they almost whispered it. And Scott was like, wait, what do you do? And he's like, we mow grass. And you could tell he was not proud of it. Well, I trained both of my stepsons.
Yep.
You know, they're both in the business with me to do the automation. Well, we go to that family every 2 years. So the next 2 years later, we go. And Scott's like, so what are you doing with Joe? And they're like, oh man, we're robotics technicians. We fix robots. And Kevin's like, yeah, I focus on Husqvarna. And Ray's like, oh, I focus on Echo. And I mean, I'm getting chills as I tell you this.
That is perfect.
Because I was sitting back listening.
Right.
So proud as their stepdad, but then also being like, this is the thing. As I look around and I see people walking around the show floor right now, you know, I'm in my mid 40s.
Sure.
And there's a lot of people that are like, hey, man, this is how we used to do it. Why are we changing? But they're missing the fact that the young people that are walking around the show floor,
right,
this is what they want. And the people like myself that employ a lot of people,
right.
If we stop doing the whole like square peg round hole thing and say, hey, look, what will they embrace? They will hold a laptop. They will hold a tablet. They will hold a cell phone. They will monitor a piece of automation all day. Well, you won't have a problem with workforce issues in this business anymore.
Right. So you're not a mow guy.
No.
You are a technician. I love that.
Yes.
And now they're proud.
Well, so I actually call my people solutions experts.
So
they're automated solutions experts. And I actually don't have salespeople or technicians. I just have automation solutions experts. So if you're selling automation, you're an automation solutions expert. If you're servicing it, you're an automation solutions expert.
Gotcha.
Because I'm actually trying to build synergy between the company. None of my companies, I don't allow silos in the company.
What's a silo?
So a silo is saying that's not my job.
Oh.
It's my job to sell.
How did silo come up with that?
No, I'm saying because it's like a farm silo, right? You have grain silos.
Okay.
So that's just my term, silos. So I don't want to silo off a business, right? So when I see, we should have a little vote on this. People listen to this little segment if they knew what silos are.
We should.
But,
click like if you know what a silo is.
Click here if Joe Langton has his mind or not.
I had no idea that silo meant that's not my job.
Yeah. So that's my interpretation, anyways. But we'll see. But so anyway, so I don't ever want that because here's what I want. The way I inspire my company is, if you, Shawn, were a sales solutions expert for me, if you see a reset on the property, just go reset it.
Right.
It doesn't necessarily need a technician to do basic resets.
Right.
So I want to inspire my sales team to take the initiative just like I want my technicians. But on the flip side, if a technician's on a property and a superintendent walks up and says, man, I should have you cut that acre of grass for me on this golf course, I want the technician to be like, yeah, we can do that, because they're a solutions expert.
So many folks that I'm hearing the conversations at this show, at last year's show, and everything in between, they see the automated mowing industry as taking away their jobs. They're feared for it. And like you said, most folks are thinking about, well, Costco is going to go buy one, and now I don't even work with them. But you've made a whole service model.
Correct.
Where you're not leaving the mowers there, or are you?
I do.
You do. Okay, so the mowers are there, but they don't just run on their own?
Well, they do. So they run on their own. They go out. So my tagline's always been, I can take an automatic mower and usually do it for the same price I can in a weekly cut model. And then I tell people I'm 6 times better than my competition.
Sure.
I'm cutting every day. So if I am the same price as a competing bid, I'm like, oh, okay, well, cool. I'm 6 times better than them at the same price because I cut every day. And the customers eat that up. So, one of the things that I will say frustrates me sometimes about the space is, I have my own podcast. I'm sitting here right now talking about this.
You want to give that podcast a shout out? What's
Yeah, it's called Automating Success.
Automating Success? I will have a listen.
Awesome. So so what I'm doing it for is when people say they're scared about their job or they're scared to lose their job, the reality is this industry has such a labor shortage.
Right.
It's insane. There, what inspires me to have my podcast is I want to talk to professionals so they actually price this automation right. And I want to help them build the service model right. So we can actually make the percentage we're supposed to make in a business. Because it amazes me when you look and I see people in this business, they're so intelligent. I mean, when you think about it, entrepreneurs in this business, they have to understand irrigation.
Right.
They have to understand agronomy.
Sure.
They have to understand how to do dilution ratios for de-icers and fertilization. And they also have to balance their books. They have to raise capital.
They have to sell.
They have to sell.
Talk to people.
When on the flip side, look at a car dealership.
Right.
If I own a car dealership, easiest business ever. I take cars in. The manufacturer tells me what I can sell them for.
Right.
What can my discount be? And I just flip inventory. Easy.
Right.
Not the professional landscape space. But it's crazy because I've had people tell me before, yeah, lawn mowings are loss leader. Okay.
I've heard that before.
Okay.
Tell me how that works.
Well,
I couldn't run a business as a loss leader.
Well, and here's the thing. Here's how it works. Because they hear stuff on a clip here or read a book and they'll say, oh yeah, milk in a grocery store is the loss leader. They sell milk at cost to sell an Oreo cookie, right? You go in a grocery store, the milk's at the back, the Oreo cookies are in the aisle ahead of the milk, so you sell the cookie. But here's the part they miss. When you look at the milk case in a grocery store,
right,
it's like 10 square feet of a 100,000 square foot building.
Right.
So their loss leader is 0.01% of their business. In landscaping, that loss leader is 30 to 50%.
Right.
So there's so many professional landscapers that are willing to say, yeah, mowing's my loss leader. Well, 50% of your core business can't be the loss leader.
No.
Okay. So I say, okay, look, how do we take that back? What inspires me to work with professionals is to say, look, let's take it back. Let's buy the equipment from a SiteOne,
right,
put it out on our property. Okay. And then say, this is mine still. It's my account. I made the capital investment for my customer, and the customer is just going to be happy they're getting their grass cut. At the end of the day, the customer doesn't want to fire the landscaper, and I know this for a fact. And why I say this is because Husqvarna set me up as a dealer in 2016, and I tried to go sell it to my customers. And I had customers tell me, Joe, we use you for a reason. I'm allergic to grass. I don't like to go outside. I sunburn easy. I like to play video games, whatever the case was.
Right.
Okay. Whatever the case was.
Sure.
That's what they did. So then I said, well, what if I just put one out there? Hey man, if you're going to maintain it, put one out there.
Right.
That's what the people listening have to realize. If you actually look at it, like, how do I, there's two options here, right? And this is part of the SiteOne AOS relationship. I walk into a SiteOne, I buy a robot.
Right.
If you can't buy a robot, AOS with SiteOne will put one out in a subscription model. So it's like, if somebody's like, yeah, I don't know, I like that 550 e-post, but I don't want to buy one for $5,500. Okay, AOS does it for $300 in subscription.
Are our associates in your area aware of this?
Yes.
Okay.
So as a matter of fact, Charles, who is one of my favorite allies with SiteOne, had a customer, Knollwood Club in Illinois. We do 96 acres of Knollwood's rough with Echo.
Wow.
And that's an AOS SiteOne partnership.
Right.
So that is, SiteOne took the equipment. I bought the equipment from SiteOne, put it in subscription model for Knollwood, and AOS does all the service for the club. It's still SiteOne's customer.
Right.
I'm there as the service partner.
That course must just love it for, even like you had mentioned earlier, the decibels. You don't have that stopping and starting all the time with the golfers close by or whatever's going to happen there.
Absolutely. I mean, listen, Drew is the superintendent there, and Drew has already talked to Charles and I about hosting events, wants us to do drone footage because the grass looks so good. I mean, the reality is we have to just get people to understand why equipment got large in the first place, right?
Right.
So when labor rates were low,
Yep.
People were cutting grass with 36-inch walk behinds. As a matter of fact, we used to use little push reel mowers to cut
Right.
grass, right? And then the industry evolved, and then labor rates started to go up, and they said, "Oh, we need a 48-inch walk behind." And then we went from 48 walk behinds to sit down zero turns, and it just kept getting larger and larger and larger until they don't fit on a trailer anymore.
Right.
Okay, because they can't make a machine large enough to cover the increased labor rate. With automation, it can be small. So this is what I urge people listening to think different. Don't sit there and keep being like, well, when they automate a 72-inch zero turn,
Right.
I'll get into the space, because I'll tell you what they won't be able to do. The 72-inch zero turn is going to have a lot of trouble getting insured and getting allowed to be on that commercial property or that school, because they just are big and scary.
Right.
The little automation that's out that passes European safety protocol, you can insure it all day.
Right. So they're thinking number of inches instead of cost per acre. So that's your differentiating factor.
My differentiator is, I don't care how big it is. If I could clip it with scissors and
Right.
make the cut per acre price, I'd do it.
Now, you also mentioned that little shout out there for Drew of Knollwood Golf Club.
No,
He said how good it cuts. That's one of the other criticisms I keep hearing from the diehards that want the traditional mowing methods, is saying they're not going to stripe it the same. They're not going to get as close of a cut. It's not going to be as perfect. They don't know my property and the bumps in the lawn and so on.
Yes.
What would you say to that?
Yeah. So here's what I would say to it. So we're gonna dissect this a couple different ways. That's because if anybody's ever tried to take a Bic razor and give themselves a haircut with it, it doesn't work so well. So if I wanted to shave my head, I would take a clipper, an electric powered clipper. Let's consider that the lawnmower, and I'd shave my head.
Okay.
As low as I could go, no guard on it, as tight as I could. And then I'd lather up my head and I'd Bic razor it with some shaving cream.
So it's a two-step process.
It's a two-step process. I see all the time, and this is why I cannot stand when manufacturers do demos, because the manufacturer will show up and nobody's cut the grass, because the person is like, hey, I want to see it cut grass. And then they put it on long grass and it looks like it ripped it.
Right.
Okay, which is what a Bic razor would look like if I tried to trim my beard right now.
Sure.
I'd have ingrown hairs tomorrow because I'd be ripping them out. I wouldn't be cutting them. That's the thing. And sorry I took so much time on the analogy, but I need to break it down.
No, but this makes it completely understandable.
Robotic lawnmowers are the Bic razor of the landscaping industry. That's what it is. And if they think of it like the Bic razor, they would cut the grass first and then put the razor out. And if you do it that way, it cuts way better. And then to go off your second question about they don't know the property like I do. What they're really saying is, I need to know where all the humps, bumps, and lumps are, so I don't scalp with my oversized zero turn.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Yes, when you are taking a robot with a very short wheelbase and an 8 to 10 inch cutting disc, it doesn't need to know.
Right.
It's going to get into the little bumps and lumps and undulations better than you ever
And we're not
will.
going to scalp.
You won't scalp.
So, Joe, tell me about the future. What's the next 5 years look like? What's it look like for automated outdoor solutions? What's it look like for Langton Landscaping? What's it look like for the industry?
Yes. So the next 5 years to me, I think, are going to look like the gold rush, right? I think what will happen is people will get it. The adoption curve will hit, and people will realize if they don't automate, they're going to be out, right? And because of the automation, I think there's going to be a lot of consolidation to the space. Because what I do think is going to happen is the people that can't afford to automate, the people that can afford to automate are going to get a lot more market share. And unfortunately, for some of the smaller landscapers that don't figure out how to afford it, they're going to get stuck with the bottom of the bun, right? It's just going to be whatever. They're going to get stuck with the every other week mowing, and that's what they're going to get. That's one thing that if we listen to this again in 5 years, that's one of my predictions.
We'll need to.
Yeah.
Let's listen to this again in 5 years. So let's see, were we right? What happened there?
It'll be awesome. So Langton Group, Langton Group's going to keep going on its trajectory. We're going to keep automating our books of business. I will tell you, there's snow automation coming to the space. We will start automating our snow portfolio. We'll probably be doing it with brine and salting equipment before we start pushing snow. And when it comes to AOS, AOS will focus on the top 10% of automation. We will work with the companies that want to be supported by a brand like AOS.
So does AOS, like your automated outdoor solutions, AOS, it's a consulting firm, or
No.
is it are you trying to franchise your landscape method? How does this look?
Yeah. So, I've gone back and forth on the franchising side. I've started it, stopped it, started it, and I'm going to probably restart it. The issue that I have with the franchising side is the manufacturers. It's hard to do a franchise model in this space because the manufacturers will never support a territory. Okay. And until the manufacturers start to actually not have territory infringement, it's going to actually cause issues for capital. And this might be the most important thing I say in the podcast. Right now, we are a leader in outdoor automation. And the thing that slows my capital raising down is them asking who's going to actually enforce territory rights. So a lot of the people that want to invest are like, well, how do you get territory? Now, I think that's a mistake that they do that because it's such a big space.
Right.
You don't need to define a territory. But still, the franchisees would fight that, right?
Yeah.
The franchisee would say, hey, I paid for a space. What are you going to do to stop it? So what I've actually decided is I'm going to actually try to find landscape professionals that basically know their cost per acre and say, okay, I spreadsheet a cost per acre at $42. Okay, well, I'm $25 in subscription. Okay, perfect. I'm going to plug your subscription in.
Right.
And I'm going to just have you deal with the automation, and we're going to skim the money off the top, almost treat AOS like a subcontractor, much like SiteOne's doing, right? I mean, that is really when you look at the relationship with AOS and SiteOne currently. SiteOne sells automation to people, and if the customer wants to buy it direct, they sell it direct. If they want AOS to install it for SiteOne, I install it for SiteOne. If they want the full subscription, I put them in subscription and buy the product from SiteOne. So at the end of the day, that's what you asked where AOS is going. AOS will just be a service company for the people that don't want to have a CTO on staff. For the landscape company that says we're going to focus on cutting grass, herbicide, irrigation, and we're going to outsource the automation to AOS. That's where AOS is going. And Langton will just keep doing what it's doing.
Gotcha.
Yep.
Gotcha. One last question, Joe, and then I'll let you go enjoy the rest of the show.
Yeah.
This is called Confessions of the Craft.
Okay.
We are looking for your confession here. Give me your worst moment, your mistake you made. It can be a conversation with one of your laborers. It could be a customer move gone wrong. What happened?
Man, this I didn't expect this question. Unfortunately, I've probably had some pretty big moments, and there's a couple of them I don't know that I want to talk about. But
Well, that's the one we want to talk about.
I think the mistake I've made in this space right now, this is very focused on the automation side, was when I got started, I had this unrealistic thought that I could actually help other professionals get into the space, and the manufacturers would just let those professionals I help stay with me. And it was a horrible miscalculation because it didn't happen. But as they say in business, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger. And that caused me to pivot to what I just told you I was going to do.
Right.
It made me realize that this is $100 billion space. The automation space is literally $100 billion space. And if
That's a big number.
That's a huge number. And if I can work with the top 3 to 10% of professionals in that space, it's a big number. And I am not going to allow myself to get nervous or focus on the static anymore. Right. So I don't know if that classifies as a good.
No, you can give me better than that. There's somewhere where you've slammed a truck door.
Okay. So that's what you're looking for. Okay. So I went way too deep. Okay. So this is actually a good one.
All right.
My general manager is going to love this at Langton. So my general manager had hit a pole at a Lowe's, a light pole.
Oh, beautiful.
Hits the pole. I was honestly pretty pissed about it.
With a snowplow.
With a snowplow. So if you can imagine a Lowe's light pole, huge pole. I'm a big dude. I'm 6'4", 270. And I was so mad. I show up. I used to be an electrician. I clip the wires, I safety it, throw the wire nuts on it, and I pick up the light pole myself. And if you ever see Tanner Lindell, he's my GM, he will vouch for this. I pick the pole up on my shoulder, carry it, and I throw it off to the side, and I'm like, gosh darn it, Tanner, that's going to be a $5,000 mistake, whatever. Well, the next snow event, I was in one of our big CDL, an old Ford L8000, and I'm on the phone, and I had the emergency brake pulled, but apparently the brake line was frozen. And I didn't realize it, and it slowly crept backwards in reverse. And I mean, I had to be moving no more than a third of a mile an hour. I couldn't even tell I was moving. And all of a sudden, I felt a little thump. And I was like, what just happened? And all of a sudden, I hear this big boom and a flash, and I knocked down a light pole at another Lowe's store, the next snow event.
And so what, your general manager's like,
it's just like, oh shit. They're like, no, it's not the same when the owner knocks it down, right? So now here's what's funny about all of this. If you ever get the opportunity to come visit me in Woodstock, Illinois.
Well, I think I need to now.
Okay. When you drive into our service lane,
yes,
where the dumpster is, there is an aluminum light pole.
Right.
That's a Lowe's light pole. So that light pole that I knocked down, we had to, we actually cut off the bottom of the base, we augered it in, buried it, and we set our lights. So what's funny about this whole story is, as an entrepreneur, I was like, well, how am I going to turn lemons into lemonade? And I took the 2 poles that I had to pay $5,000 for, and I reused them at my own place. So anyway, so that's probably one of my most embarrassing moments as a business.
That is absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
Joe, I want to thank you. You have really enlightened us. Some great shout outs there.
Yeah.
And some excellent wisdom there. I hope a lot of people are going to take action and listen to your words there. I want to thank you and wish you the best of the show and the best in business.
Thanks for tuning in to Confessions of the Craft. Ensure you never miss an episode by subscribing to the podcast so you can be the first to hear new episodes and discover previous ones. Follow SiteOne on Facebook, X, formerly known as Twitter, Instagram, and LinkedIn for the latest trends and industry updates.